believe me, when you die, the body will bear witness to everything that you did. Oh Allah, I did this because the mind commanded me. The body cannot disobey the mind. But guess what? That happens before you die. It begins to bear witness. Every time we do something against our soul, our body says, oh my Lord, I had to obey the mind, and it took me there, it took me here, it put this in me, it made me do this, it made me do abominable things. So therefore I am sick. I don't like the mind. So there's conflict. And so the soul wants to get away from this turmoil in this body. This is a royal guest. It's like having a royal guest in your house that's coming from far place, that has high royalty and is visiting your home. And the parents are arguing and fighting, and the children are fighting, and they're asking and throwing it, and you have a guest in your house. What does that guest want to do? That guest is going to feel so uncomfortable, it's going to want to leave. Allah said the heart of the believer is the house of Allah. He didn't say the heart of the unbeliever is the house of Allah. There's a process. Be good people. Enjoin good and forbid evil. Fight that part of yourself that keeps you from being a part of everything else. It was really something. 38 years ago when I accepted Islam, all we did was take Shahada, made Salah. Brother, you're a Muslim now. Oh, wow. I'm a Muslim. Well, okay, I got Muslim, so let me go and continue to do other things that I've been doing. I'm a Muslim too. That wasn't it. We think that we can do the same things that we did before we accepted Allah Almighty. Allah forgives everything, and when we take our Kalima Shahada, yes, Allah forgives everything. But we must understand the process of how Allah forgives and why He forgives. To understand that it's something else beyond what we can see or even think about. And that's why Allah sent guidance to us to make us think. All guidance is just to make us think. Think of what? Think of the royal guest. Think of respecting the royal guest that's always with us until Allah Almighty calls that royal guest back. Everyone is corrupted. When we're not corrupted, there is power through us. It is Allah's power through us. You think Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus Christ, was corrupted when he was able to bring Nazarians back from the dead or heal people? You think Moses was corrupted when he was able to part that Red Sea? You think Abraham was corrupted when the fire didn't touch his flesh? You think the person that was sitting with Sulaiman alayhi salam was corrupted when he brought Bilqis' throne to Sulaiman? You cannot be corrupted and have spiritual power. During the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they came with spiritual power. After 700 years of being in darkness, from Isa ibn Maryam, Allah Almighty sent someone to revive the people back to reality. Then after them, after years after they fell into corruption, the Moors came. And they said the Moors conquered Spain with mystical chanting. What was that chanting? It wasn't mystical. It was a reality that we knew. They were remembering Allah, and Allah was remembering them. They were remembering to fight anything that stood in the way of them and their Lord in themselves, because they wanted their hearts to be the throne of Allah Almighty. That's why they conquered the people there. They didn't conquer them in a bad way. They brought them up. They conquered the decadence of the people and put them in a place that Allah Almighty had intended them to be. And that's why they were able to establish the sciences and the mathematics and bring up they brought the Renaissance to the world. And then the Ottomans came and did the same thing. Because they had the spirit, they had the wisdom, which Allah gave them because their hearts were not corrupted. They had good intentions in their hearts and they were good people. And they looked at the goodness in people and they worked with the goodness in people. We look at shapes and forms just like Shaitan looked at Adam and Eve. We look at each other just like Shaitan looks. Judging. I don't like the way he looked. I don't like the way she looked. Why they wearing that? I don't like their height. I don't like their weight. I don't like the way they walk. It's crazy. That's a corrupted, disturbed, dark heart. And so the mind has to be a servant of that. Then the body reflects that, and the body is always engaged in some kind of illness, some kind of afflictions. Always one thing, it ain't one thing is another. But you're creating the one thing or the another. You are the creator of that madness. Allah says, any good come to you comes from me, any bad comes from you. Sometimes Allah just tests us. And it's from Allah Almighty. But mostly we are creating this decadence. And we wonder why there's no happiness in our hearts. Why our families don't last. Why the communities don't last. Why the nation cannot be built. Why people are fighting and always backbiting and trying to harm each other and trying to step up to make themselves be high by stepping down on somebody. Knowing that no one stays in this life. But the judgment starts now. And that's why any good deed you do, Allah gives you 10 in response to that. Any evil deed, Allah gives 1 for 1. But guess what? The evil is even greater than the 10 that we get for the 1 good. We're doing a lot of evil. That means that our connection to Shaitan is beyond reason. Whenever that happens, Allah Almighty always touches us with something to bring us back. Allah first sends a mercy to gather us, to teach us, to put us in front of wisdom. Then He warns us that if we don't keep that, certain things will happen to us. Then Allah Almighty sends the wrath. And then we're saying, oh my God! Why? For what? For what? The mercy is always the mercy is always a mercy. The warning is always a warning. The wrath is always wrath. That has happened throughout humanity. Wisdom is not having to experience what someone else experienced in the way of disobedience. And that's why Allah Almighty has allowed the Old Testament and New Testament and the Last Testament as a means of going and reading what had happened to those who were close to Allah. Look what happened to those who were not close to Allah. For that reason only. So that we may begin to work on ourselves. So we won't be like those who Allah brought His wrath upon, who Allah destroyed. But to be like those that Allah put His grace upon and guided them. We don't work on ourselves. We think someone else should work on themselves, but we don't work on ourselves. If you worked on yourself 24/7, you would never see anything that anybody else does. But you will be more effective in clearing up the things that they do. By you doing what you need to do and being who you need to be, you will have a great effect on them than looking at them and criticizing what they do. Because when you're looking in somebody else's business, you're not minding your own business.